Good afternoon. This is Media Center, Ukraine, Odessa. We're starting today with a briefing dedicated to EXPO 2030 in Odessa. You're going to see the presentation of the EXPO 23 model in Odessa. I'd like to welcome Evgeny Levyenberg, chairman of the EXPO 2030 Odesa Public Council, Roman Hrygoryshyn, deputy head of the Odessa Regional Military Administration, Vadym Morokhovsky, head of the board of EXPO 2030 Odessa. We also have online Oleksandra Vasylenko, director of the Department of Economic Diplomacy of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Ukraine, and Kyrylo Kryvolap, advisor to the Prime Minister of Ukraine. I'm glad to welcome you here today. Thank you for your time. Evgeny, the floor is yours. Good afternoon to everyone. I'd like to show you the model of the future EXPO 2030 in Odessa. It's better to see once, that's why we've decided to create such project. You can see that this is a unified model. There will be no concrete used, and also it will use only eco-friendly materials. This is the requirement to all the candidate countries. All the materials are fully environmentally friendly. The pavilions will be built from metal, carbon, plastic, and the roof will be covered by solar panels. This means that the whole exhibition will be fully self-substantial. This project was created by the bureau number 1 in the world, Bureau of Zaha Hadid. This is a unique project. The world has never seen it before, and it will never see it in the future, because this project was developed individually and specially for Odessa, and it was actually presented to us, gifted to us before the war, before the full-scale invasion. We negotiated the project with the Bureau, but after the full-scale invasion started, they told us that they believed in our courage and decided to give this project to us free of charge. And this is very important. As for the construction, so everyone is interested in what will be with the roundabout road. It will be created beyond the territory of EXPO in the irrigation fields, and it will move further on to Kuyalnik. The second question of your interest is dam. If we look at this model, you can see that the central pavilion is located on the dam. So it will be fully reconstructed. Everything will be upgraded, including the pumps. And this will be able to solve the ecological issues of our region and our city. Everyone is interested in how construction will take place, because there is a lot of water in that area. But it is not a problem. We have already the successful stories in Ukraine of the construction on water. I believe that after the war is over, all our enterprises, manufacturers will be able to renew their capacity, and this will be beneficiary for our business. They will be able to produce materials for our project and will pay taxes in return. Why do we need the new road? This will allow the trucks to go beyond the city, thus preserving all central roads of the city. And now, I would like to give floor to Mr. Roman Hrygoryshyn, Deputy Head of the Odessa Regional Military Administration. Good afternoon, dear colleagues. I now would like to cover organizational issues of how we fought of how we've been fighting for EXPO. This is an important stage now, and we hope to be shortlisted. Our team, the Odessa Regional Military Administration, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and all other stakeholders of the project have done a lot, and that was quite a complicated path, starting from the submitting application to persuading everyone that we will be able to host this project. It took a long time to prepare a dossier to expel Russia from the process. And on the 22nd, 23rd March, a very important stage took place. That was the research mission that took place both offline and online. And during that mission, our team defended our project. The mission encompassed 5 members, including the Secretary General of the International Bureau of Exhibitions and delegates of the countries. They asked a lot of questions. They were interested in all the details. They were interested in how the traffic would be organized and in other details. And they asked a lot of clear, grounded questions. And I've posted about that on my page on social media. And I would like to emphasize once again an important detail, because quite often we forget about people who fight for Ukraine not only on the front line, but in other areas as well. Unfortunately, I followed the situation online, but our work in Paris was a real fight for Ukraine. And I'd like to thank the people who fought for us there, who fought for Ukraine, for Odessa. These are Oleksandra Vasylenko, Evgeny Levyenberg, Kyrylo Kryvolap, the team of Zaha Hadid, Yulia Sviridenko, First Deputy Prime Minister. And for me, these people are also heroes, because during the war, we cannot speak about the same conditions as our competitors. Of course, even our possibilities are different. And of course, it is more difficult for us. But as diplomats say, that we are crazy. Yes, we are crazy, but we are also resilient and unbreakable, and we will fight for EXPO 2030 in Ukraine. Such research missions should take place in other competing countries, including Saudi Arabia, like Ukraine. The next week they will visit South Korea, and in 3 weeks they are going to visit Rome. Then these research missions will prepare a report, and this report should be approved by the Executive Committee of the International Bureau. And we hope that everyone will understand our situation and will allow us to get to the voting stage. And now I would like to give floor to Ms. Oleksandra Vasylenko, who is responsible for diplomatic front of this project, and she will be able to share more details with you in this area. Thank you very much, Roman. I'd like to welcome Odessa. I'd like to welcome you from rainy Kiev. Yes, what happened last week in Paris during the research mission of the International Bureau of Exhibitions to assess the readiness of Ukraine for Expo 2030 was fine. And we succeeded because we involved all possible resources. We involved our government. And I'd like to say that for Ukraine, Expo 2030 in Odessa is our priority, because this event could show Ukraine from a different side as a strong, powerful country. It can prove that Ukraine is ready not only to not only ready theoretically, but really ready to implement some crazy things. And you can see that this is a fantastic project created by Zaha Hadid Bureau, which is located on the Black Sea. And the whole world should see that Ukraine is, first of all, strong, economically stable, prosperous state, which has fantastic people who has been proving for 2 weeks that we can stand and that we are resilient despite of the pressure. The diplomatic negotiations are ongoing. I'd like to say that Expo is a very important issue. It is about image, it is of the country, it is about involving investments and opening countries to the whole world, like it was in Shanghai that opened China to the whole world. After that, China ceased to be the closed country for the world. This is also an opportunity for us to see the uniqueness of Ukraine and what Ukraine can give to its visitors. During negotiations in the headquarters of the International Bureau of Exhibitions, we heard quite a lot, wow, and they kept saying, wow, is it really in Ukraine? And we would like that wow for Ukraine to be a common thing all over the world, and that this is the word for our guests, for foreign businesses who can find a reliable partner, because that's what Ukraine was always used to be, was always. And Expo 2030 is a guarantee that Ukraine is ready to work even now during the war, during economic crisis. But we are ready to contribute to building of our future. We speak about long-term recovery and emergency recovery. Expo 2030 in Odessa is a quintessence of a long-term recovery for us. This is the quintessence of the development of Odessa region, because Expo is not just an exhibition. This is the development for tourism, for economy, for logistics of the region. And it is very important for us, for the southern region, for Odessa Oblast, to get visibility at the international level. Odessa is a southern capital of our country, and it should be visible for the whole world to attract investments. Because Odessa region is a very interesting, is a very rich area, and can be interesting for businesses and for people. I'd like to say that we, as the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, together with Mr. Kuleba, the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Ukraine, work with our international partners to promote Expo 2030. This is kind of election campaign for Odessa. For Odessa to be able to win and to host Expo 2030, despite the fact that there is war, that we are in discrimination conditions because all research missions can visit our competitors, but unfortunately we were not able to show the whole of our country. But nevertheless, we did everything possible to make the research mission efficient. And we will do everything possible in the future to get enough votes. As for the aspects of this research mission, I'd like to give floor to Kyrylo Kryvolap. Thank you for your attention. Mr. Kryvolap, the floor is yours. Good afternoon. I have just joined. So as far as I understand, I should share details about the research mission. And also should speak about the impact on the economy of Ukraine if we can host EXPO 2030. The thing is that EXPO in Odessa is well aligned with the plans that we had in our country before the full-scale invasion. The Ministry of Regional Development, the Office of the President consider Odessa as an important region in terms of infrastructure, agrarian activities, etc. And Odessa strategically should be one of the well-developed regions of the state. EXPO 2030 is a good idea because by 2030 Ukraine will be already a part of the European Union. And this will be the final stage of Ukrainian recovery after the war. And EXPO can boost all the processes, attracting guests, attracting investors and their investments. So we expect around 14 million of tourists. And I'd like to remind that by 2013, that our top number was 24 million, and 14 million additional tourists could have a favorable impact on our region. And of course, this will also improve the image of our country, and this will add percents to our GDP. And it will also add around 3% to the direct foreign investments in the country. EXPO requires a bit more than 3 billion for the construction only. And we believe that we'll need $9 billion to develop the infrastructure and logistics of the region. So we can speak about 10 billion investments to the economy only. And GDP before the full-scale invasion was 200 billion. And that's why EXPO could boost the development, not only the local economy, but the economy of the whole country in general. If you have any questions, I will be more than happy to answer them. Thank you very much. Mr. Morokhovsky, the floor is yours. Good afternoon, Kyrylo. I'm happy to see you today. I would like to welcome everyone. Since the first day of when we had the idea of hosting EXPO 2030, we have been working a lot. Of course, it is good to dream, but it is even better when your dreams can come true. We're sure that we will win over the aggressor, and the most fair thing that could happen after our victory is the possibility to host EXPO 2030. But this is an important element for the developing of our country. That's why fairness is very important word. And as our president said, it is very important not only for our victory but for further development of our country. EXPO 2030 is an opportunity to show the whole world that we are ready to move on, to have more victories, to be prosperous, and to have new goals. EXPO is how it is perceived in the world when the biggest architecture company develops such beautiful project free of charge. When together with us during the mission, they defend the idea of hosting EXPO 2030 by Odessa. And that's why I do hope that this word, fairness, will impersonate the future of our world, fairy world, the world full of justice without aggressor. EXPO 2030 is an excellent opportunity for our city and our country to show how we are going to live on. You can see now these beautiful pavilions, the beautiful design and layout. And this is not only needed for the 6 months of EXPO 2030, this is also the boost for the new micro-districts, new hospitals, new scientific facilities. And the business will support this project, and we are sure that we will win over aggressor and that our city, our country will host 2030. And we should not only dream about EXPO 2030, but we should make everything possible for this dream to come true. And I hope, and I'm really happy that our president and the cabinet of ministers, the mayor of the city, the city council, the regional administration will help to host EXPO 2030, and thus our dream will come true. Thank you very much, Mr. Morokhovsky. We have the question from our journalist online. Where and how we can find information about Ukrainian dossier that was presented in Paris? As soon as we get the conclusion of the research mission, we will publish the dossier on the official website. But first, we need to get the decision of the executive committee that will be at the beginning of June. Dear colleagues, do you have any other questions? Sergei Osachuk, 1+1 channel. I have two short questions to you. The first one. Why that area was selected for the construction? That is the coast of the estuary of Liman, not the coast of the sea. And the second question, why do you think Odessa deserves to host this EXPO? What do we have for this? Thank you. Thank you very much for your questions. As for the area for the EXPO, these are irrigation fields. The first and the most important condition of the Bureau is to solve ecological issues in the city that applies to host the exhibition. And our irrigation fields are our ecological problem because this is where 80% of sewage waters are collected. So this is a problematic area, and we show how we can solve this problem. And the coast of the Black Sea is on the other side. That's why we decided to have it in this area, in the free area, and this is the coast of the estuary or of the Liman. We also have some problems with the dam, and this project also helps to solve the issue. So all these ecological issues will be solved for our city. I'd like to add a few words here. There is one more important detail. The territory is around 200-300 hectares, and there is a condition that this territory should be within the city. And this is our advantage comparing to our competitors, because our location is situated like in 15-20 minutes from the center of the city. As for our advantages, when it comes to the history of this exhibition for the last 200 years, over the period, Western candidates have not hosted that exhibition. And the coalition of Eastern countries believe that this is unfair because the Eastern countries should also have possibility to host this exhibition. Of course, there is war in Ukraine, and we also fight now on the front line of all democratic states. And we also believe that this is our advantage, because in this struggle we pay a lot, we sacrifice a lot, and this cannot be assessed in money, because this is about people's life and ruined lives. As it has been mentioned by Mr. Morokhovsky, we believe that it would be fair if the whole world could celebrate our victory with us, commemorating all those people who died during that war, who lost their loved ones, and that in 2030 we could celebrate together and we could show that values are of most importance. That the whole world supports countries with the good values when it comes to fighting dictatorship regimes, to prove that the whole world can consolidate to help the country, not only in the form of weapons, but also in the form of support for economy recovery, because now we have been thrown back for 20-30 years in our development because of this war. Now I would like to offer you to come to this model to show all details to us. The next question, please. Olga Donska, the Fifth Channel. Can you share details about the area, about zones, about facilities? So please share more details about the project itself. Here we can see the central zone, entry zone, and central pavilions. The central zone will have the pavilion for Odessa and Ukraine. That was the main area for all events. During 6 months of the exhibition, this zone will also host different countries. So we are planning the day of a country, for example, the day of Italy, or the day of the United States, or the day of any other country participating in the exhibition. And the country will be able to bring its musicians here and to have other events. So the central part will host all major events. During the presentation, I've already mentioned that actually this central part will be left in the city, and that will help our city to finally get its exhibition complex, not only for Odessa, but the whole southern region. So you can see here the big modular constructions. These are the pavilions for the participating countries. Everything is united by one concept, and we are going to develop a special architecture software, and every country will be able to use that software, to use the app to choose its form. All the materials will be unified. All the construction materials shall be environmentally friendly, and every participant can choose a pavilion and the form. So it will be kind of a constructor kit. So everything is flexible, everything can be changed depending on how much money a participating country has. In between zones, there will be entertaining facilities with some attractions, playgrounds, food courts. WCs and all other facilities which are needed for guests. As for the first part, that will be constructed on water, will encompass entertaining zones where concerts, sport events will take place. And it will also allow to have not only traditional concerts, where people will be able to spend time on a green zone with a beautiful view on water. Evgeny, would you like to add something? So everything that you can see now is a kit, like a Lego. During the exhibition or after that, we can reconstruct everything in a big pavilion or in 5 smaller pavilions. It's a transformer. Everything can be deconstructed and reconstructed in some other form. So if you're interested in what will be after the exhibition, everything can be done here. One more important social issue. This part will be, for example, a Croatia pavilion. So it is constructed by Croatia. So it presents itself during 6 months of the exhibition, and then the country can deconstruct it to take it back, and it can be used to construct school or some small clinic, or the country can present this pavilion to Ukraine. And we hope that we will be able to recover eastern territories of our country after our victory. But if there will be additional needs for nurseries, kindergarten, schools, or other facilities, if such pavilions are donated by countries, we will be able to use them for such facilities. Thank you very much, Mr. Morokhovsky. Would you like to add something? Thank you very much. We are going to stop here. Thank you very much for being here with us. We have had with us Hrygoryshyn, Kyrylo Kryvolap, Evgeny Levyenberg, Oleksandra Vasylenko, and Vadym Morokhovsky. See you at noon.